Welcome, Warriors.
Yay!
Thank you so much for coming back again this week.
Mhm.
We are really excited to share with you all the amazing conversation that we had. We spoke to two fabulous warriors. Their names are Justin and Joshua Resto. And they were introduced to us by our dear friend and former guest, Nancy Beachy, pretty recently. And we were really stoked to connect with them about their anxiety warrior journey. And they were just so much fun and so lighthearted. And we can't wait for you to hear their journey. But before Abby hops into her recap, let me let you all know a little bit about who Justin and Joshua are. Justin and Joshua Resto are two brothers who own and operate a local artisan plant shop called Plant Parenthood, LLC, in Joliet, Illinois. What started out as a hobby to fill the time during quarantine evolved into an idea that's founded on providing unique quality plants and excellent customer service. After a few months of pop-ups and farmers markets, they opened a storefront on November 21st, 2021, that offered a unique plant shopping experience for new and seasoned plant parents. They believe in creating a strong community and providing support along with resources for aspiring gardeners. All right, Abby, tell us about this interview, this chat.
Yeah. I love their bio. I'm like smiling as you are reading it. Justin and Josh are awesome. So that's my recap.
Boom, nailed it.
They are just an absolute joy to chat with. So this was a super, super fun episode. Throughout the entire episode, I just want to say like their superpower is making their anxiety very relatable and also seeing the humor and lightheartedness in it. We covered a number of topics from things like social anxiety and how to navigate hellos and goodbyes in group settings to what it's like feeling like you're not living your passion and being in a dead-end job. They're brothers and they share how they decided to take the leap and co-own a business together and see what could grow, wink, wink, from it. They share about how their anxiety has changed over time and how they have different tools to navigate and manage their anxiety. This whole conversation, there was like a lot of laughter and lightness and joy. And even though anxiety is rough and challenging, like this conversation is all about being able to see the lightness in it and being patient with ourselves as we navigate the challenges of anxiety.
Totally. Yeah. It's a wonderful chat. I mean, we love all of our guests equally, truly, but this one was really fun, really special. And we just cannot wait for all of our warriors to hear it. So without further ado, here's the show. Welcome back, warriors.
Yay.
We are so thrilled to be joined by the owners of the best name for a business I've ever heard, Plant Parenthood. Just obsessed.
I'm going to say it wrong.
And Justin. Right? It rolls off the tongue, but at the same time, you're like, wait, it must make people pause all the time, right? Like, wait, what did you just say?
We have merch and like a lot of time, it says Plant Parenthood. Sometimes the lettering is stacked, kind of similar. People always like that rock the merch. They're like, oh, I keep getting pulled over. Like, why does it say that on there? But like, oh no, I misread it. And then kind of follow up. But yeah,
it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's a great name. I mean, love it. Yeah.
The best name ever. All right. But we're here to talk about anxiety. We are going to talk, we can't wait to hear more about your business and how anxiety kind of shows up maybe in that, but like talk to us a little bit about how anxiety has shown up in your life.
And in a number of ways, I feel like, especially like, growing up with, I have two brothers, so we always kind of butt heads a little bit. But that was like when we were super young, I guess that at an early age. But like kind of moving forward into adulthood, it was I feel like more manageable, but like with just like work, school, normal stuff, relationships. But I don't know what else has come up for you.
I'd say, I don't know. I guess as I've gotten older, I feel like it's gotten a little bit worse, but I could manage it for the most part. I don't know, being at the shop, like, I get anxious all the time talking to random people and, I try to like, just, roll with it and be confident, but it's always creeping up on me for the most part. But, as long as I'm aware of it, I can kind of control it a little bit and that kind of helps me.
That's interesting, Justin. It's like, as long as I'm aware of it, I can control it. I love that line.
Right. Yeah, I know it's there. It's just like creeping in the background.
And like now I'm just picturing like because I always visualize anxiety as like an entity or something.
Yeah, but it's only behind her.
Yes. And so I'm just imagining something creeping around your shop.
Yeah.
Hiding behind plants.
The plant we forgot about.
I love that you have a job where you have to be talking to like new people pretty often, correct? And like you're like, you know, you get anxiety like talking to random people.
Oh
like,
yeah, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's true. We get a ton of different energies like throughout the whole day. Like you're getting this person's energy, and and then you're trying to like hone in on your own and try to make it more comfortable for them. So yeah, you get a lot of that.
And you get like tapped out socially sometimes too. Like, if it's a busy day, we have a lot of regulars, which is awesome and we appreciate them. But we have friends that come in, but it's just like like one after another, and it's like dude.
Yeah, by the end of the day, the social battery is completely drained.
Yeah.
Then my wife wants to stop, and I'm like, oh no, I'm already.
I feel that.
I always have extra battery reserves for her. So
Always.
You gotta plan, right? So how old are both of you, or what is the age difference? Because I'm curious, you both said that you noticed anxiety growing up. And you mentioned another brother, right? And then but it kind of like changed. Like Josh, you said like it's kind of there, but it's changed over time. And Justin, you said that you noticed it's kind of gotten worse as you've gotten older. So I'm curious about like the age difference, and then also why you branched out, how you branched out. What do you think happened?
Yeah, so there's a 3-year difference.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of speaking like generally. I know like I've always been aware of like the anxiety, and I'm sure like as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized, oh, maybe that was like some anxiety triggers and learning that over time. But yeah, I think definitely when we started the business, it kind of, I don't know. I may have been more stressed before the business because just like the job I was at was more stressful than anything. It was more depleting than this job. Just this job, I can pour my whole self into it and I'll feel really good about it.
Yeah, no matter what, at the end of the day, like, we put in all the work for ourselves and for the company. So it's more meaningful, like that stress and that anxiety. I'd rather deal with that than having to put myself in someone else's, like, work for someone else again. Yeah,
it's definitely more manageable. And, Justin takes off, I take off. If he needs a day off, like, it's not a big deal. If he wants to leave early, I want to leave early.
I'm leaving early today.
Nice.
No, actually.
I think that's so interesting too. And Abby and I are both small business owners. We've both been independent contractors, and certainly we worked for people before that. Right. And I could really feel what you were saying, Josh, about like, I would much rather be dealing with this kind of stress and anxiety than dealing with the stress and anxiety that comes with, contributing to something that maybe you thought was cool or you believed in maybe at some point, and maybe you still do, but like, it wasn't something that was yours, right? It wasn't, your business.
I struggle with that a lot, trying to figure out like direction, purpose, like bouncing around jobs. Like, this doesn't feel like it. This doesn't feel like it.
It was always like an empty shell, just kind of going through the motions. And and
just starting the business happened at like the perfect time. Justin quit his job, and I was just like, well, you know what? I'm just going to quit mine and dedicate myself full time to this.
I get anxiety thinking about going back to like what I was doing. Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, me too. For another year. Like, we just got to do this right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it for sure.
Yeah. No, I love how you also just shared that part about the pressure before you found this, right? Because I feel like in our society, there's so much pressure of like, what is your passion, and live your passion. And you only have this one life to live, which causes so much more like, pressure and stress to like find that thing. And, and it sounds like at some point you just took the leap and you're like, all right, I'm going to try this new thing and see what happens from it. And it's worked out really well versus like forcing yourself to find your passion.
Yeah, it's like another thing about like society where they tell you have to find your passion. Like, there's so many things you can do. You could have multiple passions. Like, that was one thing that always drove me crazy. Like, I don't know what the hell I want to do. I was like, figure it out and go through the motions. So like, you could be passionate about multiple things. I think you just gotta pursue multiple streams. And
there was a TED talk. He talked about multi-potentialites, and I was like, dude, like, Justin, this is you, because Justin jumps around like to like different things. He'll like do this and then he'll do that, and like he'll get tired of this. He's like, all right, but he goes through those phases and he tries them all, and then he's just like, at the end of the day, when we started the business, all of those things kind of became meshed together.
Like everything I learned
Mm.
in a few years kind of like helped
Full
implement.
circle.
Yeah, like I got to use those skills like now, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
it like worked out perfectly. So I
Yeah.
always learn something for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys like feed off of each other's energy too when you're working? Like, can you kind of see when like one brother could use a little bit of help in something, or like if one of you is maybe having a rough conversation with a
Yeah.
client or someone that comes in, or you know,
Yeah.
like how does like the noticing of each other's energy or anxiety
Yeah,
kind of come
I
in?
could definitely. I think of this. It just happened like last weekend. There were some
God.
teenagers in here,
Fucking kids.
and I already know, like, you can gauge them as soon as they walk in. You know what their intentions are. It's just to kind of like, scope out the place, make a stupid joke, or like touch everything. And like one of the kids ended up, knocking over the plant. And I already felt Justin's tension because I felt him, like, he's very stiff, and he's like, he's not like, usually has like a purpose in the way he's moving throughout the shop. But like, he was like, all right, I'm just waiting for these kids to slip up. And yeah, as soon as they slipped up, I knew Justin was going to react. So I was like, all right, y'all got to leave right now.
Yeah.
I
So you
keep my
stepped
cool,
in.
but I don't like when people like come in my shop and like,
Yeah.
they just want to bullshit and mess around and touch my plants and knock them over,
Yeah. And pretty sure he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he did intentionally.
Yeah.
Right.
It's part of being in the mall. I
Yeah,
guess.
it is. Definitely.
But I mean, it takes a lot, because like just to navigate so many different people and so many reasons why they're coming into your shop. And then, there's like that pressure of the customer's always right, like, and so you want to welcome people in, even though you're already like, oh, I know this person's coming to mess with my stuff. Like, I would freak out if people were messing with my stuff.
That's
like,
that's definitely.
I try
that's
not
your
to,
money.
Yeah, exactly. Try not to have like, we're always friendly with people, but you just feel a lot of people's energy, Yeah, so
Totally.
And the shopping habits of people. Like, I don't know if someone's like a really big like plant enthusiast, because they stop at the first plant, or they'll go to a specific section. But if they're not, they'll literally shoot for the back to avoid us entirely.
They like fucking jog back there, like,
yeah, they'll run back, and we had to close off the back area because like people kept like congregating over there. They wouldn't move. I'm like, all right, you guys gotta go.
There could have been some illegal activity happening
Pretty
back
sure.
there. We don't know. It's possible.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
No, I know. All right. So talk to us a little bit about how anxiety kind of manifests itself in your mind and bodies and behaviors. Like, let's start with you, Justin. Like when Josh mentioned he noticed like he could see your tension, right? He noticed you stiff up. But in general, like how does anxiety show up in you physically?
Physically, I guess if I'm really anxious, I just get super quiet, like, and I just don't want to talk. And I'll notice myself looking at my phone more, and I don't want to like make eye contact. I think that's like about as physical as it gets, like for me. I just kind of shell up, or I feel tighter.
You feel it though, like in your body somewhere?
I feel
like when those kids were messing with, did you feel it like in a certain?
I don't know. I was kind of pissed, so my heart was racing. But yeah, I just kind of clam up a little bit.
Yeah.
And how about you, Josh? Different?
I don't know. I feel like when I think about anxiety, and sometimes like I'll touch my face, or I'll play with like my beard or something, and I feel like that's when I'm anxious, and I'll try to catch myself. But other ways, probably like dreams too. When I was like super anxiety ridden, and like in the past, I've had like sometimes like nightmares keep me up. That's like when I'm going to sleep though and waking up. But that was really bad before.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when did you each realize like, oh, these experiences I'm having are anxiety? Like at what age did you realize your experience was anxiety? And then when did you each realize like, oh, we both have anxiety,
Yeah.
So Josh, if you want to start this time, like when did you
I remember I think I became really mindful of it in like 2016. Because I was like in between jobs. I was working less. I was working part-time. So I was spending a lot more time at home.
Yeah.
So in that case, I was like really anxious, and I was curious as to why I'm feeling so anxious, because like I didn't really have anything to do. And at that point, I wasn't like comfortable just like being by myself. I was always like reaching out to friends, trying to make plans and go do things. But like 2016, I started to like realize that. I started meditating, read a couple books, and kind of stuck to that habit for a little bit, like try and meditate throughout the day. And So what was the second question after that? You said,
And then like, how did you two realize that you
Oh.
each had anxiety, you know, like as siblings, like, oh, wait, what you're doing, you
Yeah.
have anxiety, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I've always known, but I think we really tapped into it like when we started working more together. Cause then like I
Yeah,
kind
we
of
spend a lot of time.
spent a lot of time, a lot more time together. So I got to learn that. And I think, and even in the beginning, we knew like starting the business is like, it's going to be really stressful. So we just told each other like, yeah, like it's going to get hard, but we just got to remind each other, like,
Yeah.
if you're anxious or if you're nervous or if you're scared or if you're just like, just talk about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about you, Justin? Like, when did you realize like, oh, my experiences are anxiety? Like,
I think it's probably started in my like mid-20s. I was like 25 or 26. Like, but I like prior to that, I never really had any like social issues or like overthinking everything. So like I'd have interactions with people and I would like feel weird about the interaction. I would like think about it. I was like, did I say something? Did I do this or did I do that? And then I dealt with customer service too. So like, I don't know. I was always in like a social situation, you know, no matter what. And I would just get anxious about, you know, talking to someone I never met. And I feel like that just really just got worse as I got older. But like I said, I'm aware of it now and I'm trying to like, you know, heal it slowly, you know, just train it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the awareness first. That's the first piece before we can do anything else with it. It's like, oh, wait, this is anxiety.
And they don't tell you that like in school. They don't teach you about, teach you about like your brain or your mind or mindfulness, anxiety. There's no avenues out there for anybody. It's just kind of like, oh, you're nervous about a test. It's like, well, just deal with it.
Yeah, suck it up, right? Just study and suck it up, and it is what it is.
That's life, kid.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know. I mean, I know you know Nancy, but Margot and I are yoga and mindfulness teachers for kids. Awesome. And one of the driving reasons is because we feel like we missed out on so many tools to navigate, you know, our school system. And so we want to give kids tools to help them with their mental health, you know, in and outside of school. So
yeah,
we're pretty passionate about the mindfulness piece and being able to name how you're feeling and then have tools to support yourself once you realize like what you need in that moment.
I didn't really tap into like the tools until like I started reading more meditation books, like with identifying the feelings and kind of like trying to not disassociate, but like separate the two. Like, I'm me, and then there's a
right.
Fear, you know.
Yeah, you can make the connection, right, without necessarily just like disassociating from the feeling. This is the perfect segue. So just let's start with you, Justin. What are some of the ways that you show up for yourself now? Like, how do you practice coping with your anxiety? What are like the go-to strategies?
I think the main thing for me, like I like just recently started exercising maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. And I used to exercise a lot prior, but I've noticed like exercising daily, at least like, you know, 45 minutes to an hour, 4 times a week, like I've been like more clear of it. And it's like, it hasn't been as bad as it, you know, as was prior. So I think like exercise and just movement in general is just good. And that kind of helps subdue a lot of those feelings. So, I mean, it's not that they're not there, but it's definitely more manageable for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
For me, I think one way in particular has been the past couple of months has been getting back into exercising. That's like a really good, I don't know, there's just something therapeutic about just like, you know, exercise, lifting weights.
Yeah. I think it's just like the harder, you know, physically it's harder. And then you have to deal with like real life stress stuff. It makes it a little bit easier because it's not as hard as the physical work.
It's a nice release, you know, it's like
sure.
I'm wound pretty tight sometimes. So that helps. And then before that, I was like doing like meditating and I don't know, I try to have like more conscious moments. Like I'm just kind of, I need to check in more with myself throughout the day because like I'm constantly like running around doing things, but I don't really stop to like pause until like the end of the day when I'm like driving home and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like all catching up with me now. So yeah, try to have like more mindful moments.
Yeah. So you had mentioned that one of the ways like anxiety showed up and then you started to like realize this is anxiety is you had said how being uncomfortable being alone. Right? And you notice that you would constantly do stuff and try to interact with people. And I'm wondering like now with that coping piece, with those strategies you have with mindfulness, with exercise, like how does it feel being alone now? Like what comes up for you?
I still get a lot of peace. I mean, now it's just now I've become more of like a hermit, and now I have to try to now I gotta try to I gotta balance it out now, because now I'm just like I'm comfortable just being at home and being with myself. Like, I have things I could do. There's like certain hobbies I like to tap into sometimes, and I could spend like hours doing them by myself, and I'm
Yes.
completely okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel that so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I feel like I used to be such an extrovert, like the go, 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 really uncomfortable being alone, like with myself. And then once I started to also practice mindfulness and everything, like now I'm a super hermit, like I'm super introverted and I have to like push myself. Like you like people, you like people.
Like once you're in the environment, you're like, oh yeah, there was a reason I forced myself to do this. This feels right. This feels good. This is fun. I should do this more often. And then you cancel the next 7 engagements. And then on the 8th one, you say yes. And you're like, right, again, why do I keep forgetting that this is fun? This is good.
It's true, like,
And you can always leave if it stops being fun, right? Or you can
Yeah.
always change course in the middle of it if it doesn't work out, So
Way
I
to
love
do
it.
I never say goodbye when I leave.
He doesn't. He just
dip
leaves.
out.
He does the Irish goodbye.
The Irish exit. Oh man.
Easier, oh hey, I'll see you later. I'll see you later. See you later. See you later. Just get up out of there.
If he's gone, he's gone.
Yeah.
I feel that way. I get anxiety about that, like having to say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah,
Every single person.
Bye. Like I do one.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
do the
someone
one
will
goodbye.
see it.
That's
and-
it.
Then you leave just a big wave.
Yeah.
It's like, see you.
You know what? It is tricky. I feel like we need an episode about that, Abby, about goodbyes and exits and having that and the stress that comes with that, because it isn't talked about that often, right? In terms of social anxiety, it's like you spend a lot of time depleting your battery doing work or at a party or at a thing or whatever. And then it's like, now I'm done. I've been here for a really long time. I'm exhausted. I just want to leave.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just thinking about if I were a host or something and Justin were to just peace out, I'd be like freaking out, like, oh my God, that guy hates me. He had the worst time, which obviously I'm sure isn't the case. But like once you get used to people's patterns too, right? It's like, okay, now my anxiety is alleviated. I'm okay.
He's been doing it for so long. So like everyone knows, like, oh, Justin's gone. Like he just did it. Set the standard. Like, I'm just going to leave and I'm not going to say anything.
It's like another thing that kind of gives me anxiety is when you go to a party, you don't know everybody. Do you have to like greet individually, or can I just do the big hello,
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, hi, I'm Justin. Hi.
You got to shake everyone's hand.
Just a big hello.
So with you. Yeah. It's like the overthinking every little interaction, and it's like, how do I not come off rude, but also how do I not deplete myself? And then also how do it's like,
I did that recently at a party. There was like a whole table full of people and wrapped around. And I was like, I stopped at my friend. I'm like, I didn't know what to do. So I just gave him a thumbs up. I was like, why did I give him a thumbs up to everybody else?
I was just
like,
do the awkward hello. I'm like,
Nice. I like Josh that you're just like, I changed up with each person, like what I did. And eventually it was a thumbs up. It's like, that doesn't even me. Why am I doing
make any sense? Like, you get it, right? Like, I'm not coming over there.
it's like, what's he giving me the okay for?
Right. It's like, who knows with hand symbols too? You can be stressing someone out. Hand symbols mean different things to different people, different cultures. Who knows? It's right. Oh, that guy's flipping me the bird over there.
No, it was at a bar. It was loud. I'm like, I gotta scream over the music.
Okay.
No.
I did them a favor.
I love how we can laugh about this, but in the moment, it feels so fucking weird. Like we can all relate. We're all like, oh yeah, I've had this experience. It's really funny.
It's so true. Like afterward, though, you're like, it's like a relief, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So let's start with you, Josh. How would you describe your relationship to anxiety?
I think we have an understanding now. Like we can operate on the same plane and like respect the boundaries. But I definitely have more of like an understanding with my anxiety. I know like my triggers now. I always call them out when it happens so that I understand, and maybe like breathing exercises helps too, but it's definitely more manageable than it was before. It was pretty bad like before, but now I've kind of developed those tools, and I learned more about myself, so I'm able to manage it better.
I like that. Learning more about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a curious practice. How about you, Justin?
I guess dealing with it now, I just kind of like go through the motions. I know it's there, and like I said, the exercise helps but I just kind of flow with it, and I try not to let it get me. Like right now, I'm getting a little anxious because I think I might have forgot the question.
No worries. We can repeat the question. It was just, how would you describe your relationship to anxiety?
Okay, so
I
yeah,
love it.
it's like
That was pretty good.
I think it's better now. Like he was saying, it used to be worse. It's not like it's perfect, but we're just like we're like a toxic relationship. That was we're on the mend. We're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
We got some like standards now, and yeah, we're just
Like
keeping each other at arm's length.
Any anxiety that we share like a lot of the same anxieties now with the
Yeah, I
business.
think it's like the same.
But like I
same
always
shit.
have to remind like myself and him, just like it's worth it, like doing something else and like not be doing this, like, but doing this is like just so worth it, and like how grateful we are to even be in the position that we are with the business and how far we've come. Like I would rather be, not struggling, but like dealing with that sort of anxiety than not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I love that you can be there to support each other, right?
Yeah.
It's the best part. All right. So, all right, Justin, I'm going to start with you now. So you don't have to worry because you're going to hear the question first.
All right, cool.
Always repeat it, Josh, if you need me to.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. If you could go back in time and speak to a younger version of yourself, what kind of advice would you offer? Let's start with you, Justin.
Oh man, I got so much shit to tell that kid. Well,
And he still wouldn't listen.
I guess I would think about like if I was like maybe like a teenager, 15, 16. Cause like I ended up dropping out of school like to get my GED because I was not a good student. Not saying I was a bad kid, I just didn't care at the time. So I would just tell him to like there's a lot of shit you can learn. And just because like they're forcing you to do something, you don't have to do that. You gotta just go to learn what you want to learn and kind of focus on that. And don't try to like get pushed into doing things that you don't want to do, There's so much information out there, and it's age of information. You can learn anything you want.
Yeah.
Just learn skills and just work for yourself, and I guess don't do a dead end career for like 10 years.
I love it. Just like try, right?
Yeah, try harder, essentially. Don't quit. Because like I think another thing was I always quit so easily on everything. I don't know why. It's just, failure is good because you kind of know where to start again. Builds resistance. Yeah.
Ooh, I just got a full body chill. That was beautifully said. What about you, Josh? What would you say to your younger self?
I'm thinking of like college Josh, like high school college Josh, like think for yourself. I feel like I was being pulled in a lot of different directions and trying to like appease the parents and go to school, but like only really going to school because so many people were telling me to go to school. So definitely think for myself, pay more attention, have better coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty much
That's
it,
probably more advice than we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. It's like a lot of the advice that I like to do this exercise with myself sometimes, just like, what would I say to a younger version of me? And it's like, it's really just what I always needed to hear, right? It's like stuff that works for you now. It serves as great advice for you now. Whatever you tell your younger self is the stuff that you feel like you either have now or you're working towards having now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I really love the advice about learn what you want to learn. And also just like school isn't for everyone, right? Like we are so told like education is great. I'm so pro education and learning, right? But the school system does not really work for everyone. And when there's one teacher and 25 kids or more, that teacher's not going to be able to reach every student. And so I just really love, because I think it's so important for like the generations in school right now to know that they're going to have options, they're going to have choices, right? And to continue learning, but figure out the way that like learning feels good for you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I just hear like there's nothing wrong with you if you're having a hard time in school.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Some teachers are like a grade school, like they're so hard on you if you're having a hard time, and they make you feel like, I don't know, you've done something wrong just because you're struggling. But
right. Yeah. And you're just a child.
Yeah, and you're just a kid. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
And I love what you said too, Josh, about like thinking for yourself and try to
Mhm.
stop being less of a people pleaser. I heard that and what you said too from a younger age. That's advice that I wish I had
Yeah,
eons
definitely.
ago.
Yeah. What is a people pleaser and how do you not do it? Like,
Right. That should be a course in every elementary, middle, and high school.
yeah.
If you guys have an episode about that, I'll definitely tune in.
We
We
do.
do.
It's a really old one. Maybe
It's
we need
it's
a
like
follow-up
season 1.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from a long
Yeah.
time ago.
I'll have to check it out.
We
Yeah.
actually have a shirt that's called Recovering People Pleaser. It's a
Oh,
graphic and it's yeah. So we're very passionate about that. But I mean, that's the
yes.
thing is in schools, a lot of kids learn they have to be people pleasers for their teacher to like them. It's what
Mhm.
keeps them safe in the classroom is if their teacher likes them. And so we learn at a very young age to people please versus not people pleasing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You want the teacher to like you because you get better stuff. It like keeps you safer in school. As opposed to
Yeah.
getting ostracized and kicked out if you question the teacher. It's
Mhm.
yeah.
hmm
True. I didn't think about that either.
I wonder if kids still bring teachers apples.
Probably.
Versions of it.
Yeah, I don't know that maybe not an
Yeah.
Apple specific, but yeah. Well, I mean, we were both, Abby and I were both classroom teachers too for a while before we became yoga and mindfulness teachers. And so I can say that no, I never got a straight up apple from a student,
Yeah.
but I've gotten food,
Yes.
bottles
Yeah.
of wine.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I brought my teacher some flowers, and I
Aw,
was actually Miss Toomey.
you always knew.
Yeah,
You
she was
always
really sweet,
knew.
so
Yeah.
super sweet.
Who knew that years later you'd be in the plant game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is crazy.
It's weird how the trajectory works on life, you know?
Mm,
Yes.
Never know where you end up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Right.
Well said. All right. So, Josh, let's start with you. What does being an anxiety warrior mean to you? When you hear this phrase, how would you define it?
I instantly I just think what came to my head was just showing up for yourself and being patient with the anxiety
Mm.
because it's not. Don't let it consume you. And try to like pause and breathe with it until it passes. Because like a lot of people will always respond like emotionally or reactively once anxiety comes up. But I feel like now being an anxiety warrior, we're definitely just being showing up and being patient with the anxiety until it subsides.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love that. Like you don't often think of like the words warrior and patient going together, but
Mhm.
you are a warrior when you are being patient with your anxiety. Like, it takes
You really do. You
lot.
gotta be so patient.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
What
And
about
it-
you, Justin?
See, when I first heard the name of your podcast, I was like, I imagined myself like as like a Spartan warrior, just like shielded up, fucking slaying some like you said, like an entity. It's just like, you know, just so I feel like that's a good way, like a front defense, you know, you're aware of it, you know what your opponent is, you can kind of go at it head on and you know, it's sneaky sometimes, but
Yeah.
as long as you know how to manage it.
disguises itself in
Yeah.
so many different ways.
For
too.
real, it does.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you just kind of fight the good fight every day.
Yeah. Now I'm back to thinking about the entity creeping around your shop.
Yeah.
And you just
all,
like,
the, all the plant souls that have passed.
All right. Sounds like a better person.
oh, it's so good. Beautiful
Yeah.
responses. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. So that was our final question. Now it's time for some lightning round fun,
Oh,
which is basically the best part of every interview. So, Josh, Justin, are you ready for
Lightning round.
I was imagining.
I love that.
lightning? Okay, we are ready for the lightning round. Abby and I are going to go back and forth and ask you just a fun few questions each that are just like get to know you kind of questions. You do not have to answer at lightning speed. You can take a pause, take a breath, consider your answer, take your time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Abby, you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay. So same question for both of you. And whoever has the answer first for this particular question, start and then the other person can answer. What advice would you give anyone thinking of going into business with a family member?
I would say make sure you like. I hear a lot of people like talking about having bad relationships with their siblings, and I just can't imagine that. So like, I don't know. As long as you have a healthy relationship with your sibling, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Of course, me and Josh butt heads here and there about little petty shit, But I mean, ultimately, we work as a good team, and he has like his strengths, and I have my strengths, and
Yeah,
we kind of go back and forth from that. So it's like a nice balance. So
definitely.
I would recommend it. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
There needs to be like like we always had like an understanding before like anything, like, all right, if we're doing this, it's going to be hard, like, but at the end of the day, we need to be, say I love you, or like give me a hug, or like, just have
You haven't given me a hug, man.
the other day.
The other day. It should be at the end of every day. No?
Give me a hug, man.
Oh, yes. Audio
Yeah.
media, but that was a beautiful hug we just did.
But yeah, I would say just like you got to have an understanding that it's just business, and that don't let like any of the stresses, or like there's always like the financial people always like get greedy, like
Yeah.
no,
Some of our friends have said that, like,
yeah,
like your relationship's gonna get weird, and things are gonna split up. And I'm like,
why would you
well,
put that on us?
I was like, I wouldn't say that. Like, the only reason that would never happen, because I know I wouldn't do it, and I know he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Aw.
I
A
love
solid
it.
foundation.
Yeah.
Thanks to our mom for
Yeah.
sure.
Shout out to mom always.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could like get the repeat of some of the early lessons she gave us,
Yeah, for sure.
because she was smart. She was like, and just super. I don't know. It's
Just-
hard to.
Yeah.
It's
Seems
hard
like
to
a life
narrow
goal.
Yeah, for real.
It's beautiful. All right. So, people ask a lot of people all the time, like, what is your spirit animal? So I'm going to ask you both to share, what's your spirit plant?
Ooh, spirit plant.
Let's start with you, Josh.
Oh man. Spirit plant.
Or maybe a plant that looks like you.
Oh, I could find the
Damn, that's a good question.
It is.
Hmm.
I'm glad you're going
Trying to
first.
think of a plant that really that I like resonate with, that I connect with. Man, I don't know. A Dischidia.
Okay. I thought
I'm
you
gonna have
said
to
the
Google
shittia.
that.
I'm like, the shittia. What the
That's-
hell? Okay. How do you spell that?
So wait,
I couldn't even tell you. I think
Yeah.
it's like DISCHIADA, something like that.
Dischidia. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm definitely Googling that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what these plants look like. Okay. What about you, Justin?
I'd say I'm like a Japanese cultivated agave, drought
Oh.
tolerant, like
cultivar.
spiky on the outside, soft on the inside.
All right. Yes. I like it. I was going to
Love
say, what made the association for you, Josh? Like, or what made for each of you, like what made the association? Like,
That was just the first plant that came to my head.
got it. Fair enough. You
I
know
just
what?
like
Yeah.
Getting caught in the lightning round. It's
And
tough.
so-
It's tough in here sometimes. All right.
Okay. So if you had to start a second business together and it can't be involved with plants at all, what would the next business be?
I'd want to do like a speakeasy bar. That would be dope. I honestly want, one day, if we ever get lucky enough to do it, I would do that for sure. Because like our main thing was always like making community, and like
Mhm.
there's so many goddamn sports bars out there. Like we don't need another sports bar. We need like
Yeah.
a lounge bar where people can go hang out,
Chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
some dim lights,
Yeah.
maybe a little mister in there so it looks like people are smoking even though they're not.
There's
That's
like a
great.
written rules of how to greet other people. Thumbs up or welcome, like, you can just
Only
leave
Irish
without
goodbyes.
saying bye.
Or only Irish
Do not say
goodbye.
goodbye. Do not say hello.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. I'm sign me up. A quiet place where I can just enjoy my drink.
Be
No
in
one talks to me.
community, but quietly.
For real.
You got to enjoy silences together. That's like how
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's well said.
What
Okay.
about you, Josh? Do you feel the same way? Speakeasy, or would you go somewhere else?
We've always talked about that, and I love it, like planning events too. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's like the best part.
yeah, so something to like
Perfect.
kind of do something like that, kind of combine them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you already know what your decor will look like. Lots of plants, right? You can combine the two loves,
Yeah.
Okay. If you were in the type of business where you got to have an entrance song, So maybe that's like a fighter, or like, or just any kind of, or maybe when you go to the grocery store, there's like an entrance song
Yeah.
as soon as those automatic doors open. Like, what is your go-to? Like, this is my jam. This is like how I want to enter the world or enter places.
I know the name of the song.
Oh, I gotta pull mine up.
Fuck, I don't remember the name of mine.
I love I can't even pronounce it because it's from like the 70s, and it's an Italian song where they try to recreate like an American song, but it's all gibberish, but it's like such a funky song that I love it.
Okay.
I don't know I can't even pronounce it, honestly.
All right.
Can you sing any bit of it or hum a bit of it?
Can I play it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I gotta hear this.
Can you hear that? Wait, just give it some time.
I've never even heard the song.
Exactly. It's a good one. I'll send it to you guys.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Send it over. I don't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear it anymore.
Oh, well. Oh, man. It's a cliffhanger. All right. Well, when you find it, I'll try to find it on
That's
Instagram so I
professional
can share it
audio.
with everyone.
All right, I'll email it to you guys.
I'll see if mine will play.
Yeah.
This would be mine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's like I feel like I'm like a wrestler or something from like back in the day.
Can you hear that?
What's the name of yours, Justin? Do we know the name of yours?
Yeah, it's called, it's like from Old Dirty Bastard, but it's called Shimmy Shimmy Ya by Michael's Affair.
Nice.
It's like a rendition of it.
Love
So it's
it.
just instrumental. It's dope.
We're going to be Googling
Instrumental.
plants. We're going to be Googling songs.
Okay. Well, moving on.
Okay. So that's
This
entrance
is an
song.
easy question.
Now, what is your go-to exercise song? If you could only listen to one song the rest of your life when you exercise, what would that song be?
Damn. I must say Chop Suey from System of a Down.
Nice.
That's such a good song.
That's a good one.
Like, damn.
Ooh, I'm going to be thinking about this myself, Ab.
Actually,
I
we're gonna
know.
play that album after this.
Let me see if I can find it. Man.
Does it have a million words in there like the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please let it be a song that maybe any of our listeners have heard. Any human beings other than you.
Mick Jenkins, Carefree.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
I'm gonna save it in my
Yeah.
Spotify right now so I can
Yeah.
check after we're done here. Hank Jenkins. Okay. Gonna look that up. All right. Awesome. Okay. My final question. Have you ever played a prank on each other? And what was it? Or have you been the one receiving the prank?
I
Or are
remember.
you not pranksters?
I remember like when the fucking those Bluetooth speakers first came out. I left one of them in the house, right? And I would play like creepy sounds, like because it would be hidden. And it was like ghost sounds or like knocking or something, and they'd be like, everyone would be freaking out, like, our house is haunted, man. There's noise.
Wait, you did that for real?
Yeah, I did that with Scooter and Steve.
Makes so much sense now.
Oh, wait, so you never revealed that this was a prank?
I guess I didn't. I may not have told him, but I think I got caught by my other brother.
Okay, that's so funny. So, Josh, you've been going around thinking your house was haunted all this time, and now you're just learning.
Guess they're cool. They're gone now. But then he
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
That's awesome.
Prank revealed. Here
Yeah.
on Anxiety Warriors podcast. What is that's
I was like the
exciting.
prankster.
You were the what? The receiver?
Was the receiver, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Or
right.
like so many different pranks. I can go on forever. But yeah.
What's another?
That's a good one.
It's another one. You know those fart sprays, man. Those were good.
Okay.
Ooh, God.
Those are bad though. They like,
Yeah,
don't,
good with that.
don't spray them in your house.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
All right. So before we let you share with all of our listeners how they can connect with you and how they can find you on like social media and all of that fun stuff, we like to ask all of our guests to share a win of the week, big or small. It can be something that happened this week. It could just be something that happened recently that felt like a win. Let's start with you, Justin.
My win of the week is I'm building these shelves right now in the back, and it's been pissing me off because I have to keep going back and forth to the store. I finally have everything correctly. So I'm going to build it now. And that's my win of the day right now. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
With that.
No more shopping. Now you can just
Yeah,
build the
exactly.
thing. Nice.
For the
How about you,
past
Josh?
2 weeks, I've been working on trying to wake up at 7 o'clock, like comfortably. and I'm like, my body's ready now. It's there. I woke up at 7 today. I was ready to move.
Yes. Oh,
Wow.
that's huge.
Did-
That's huge.
It
Did
took some
the time
physical-
change help?
Oh yeah.
Actually, well,
that would explain why I've been tired lately.
yeah. 'Cause then technically I'm getting up at 6.
Yeah.
Well, hey, even better.
Right? You're ahead of the game, literally.
Yeah. Well done. That's a huge one. Waking up early in me is
Yeah. No,
You
it's
gotta
I
have a better relationship with it.
to work on that relationship, Abby.
Yeah.
No,
It's
but I
toxic
love
right
that you
now.
like work yourself up to it, right? You can't just cold turkey it one day. You're like, I'm going to wake up at 7. You got to work yourself into that being a normal part of your routine. So that is a big win
Yeah. And then getting enough sleep too is tough. So
Mm-hmm.
for real.
Yeah,
For
I can
real. All right. So, tell our listeners how they can find you guys, how they can connect with you.
We're on so Instagram is like the main thing. We're
MySpace is the second thing.
MySpace, follow us to be in our top 5. Not just kidding.
Damn,
Yeah,
all right.
Instagram, our handle's Plant Parenthood LLC. We're in Joliet at the Joliet Mall. The only good
Mhm.
thing about the mall, so
Yeah,
fly through if you're in the area.
definitely. And same thing for the website, Plant Parenthood LLC.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. And what do you just strictly plants? Anything else going on in there?
We do a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
like
We have
cacti, tropicals,
classes, events.
classes. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
What else?
some merch sometimes, and
Justin sells
Nice.
insurance off the back sometimes.
need a side hustle.
And mattresses. No, I'm just kidding.
Mattresses.
Cell phones.
This was a mattress store before it was our store.
Okay. There's just
Pretty
still
much.
some loose mattresses in the back. That's so funny. Well, next time, I'm in like the Chicago area, I'm definitely gonna have to come check you guys out. That's awesome.
I want a Plant Parenthood. See, it took my brain. I had to like pause before I said it. I
Yeah.
want a shirt. So we'll have to
Yeah.
connect after.
Yeah, for sure. Once we'll get some new merch soon. We'll send you some.
Okay.
And maybe
Well-
you can help me not kill one of the plants. I literally only own one plant and I'm working really hard not to kill her.
We
You
got
gotta-
you.
Yes, it's a
Yeah, there's
her.
nice window right there. You need a little plant.
Yeah, you should have one right next to you. A little plant.
The
buddy.
thing is that listen, fellas, I've killed every plant that have come through the front door. And so I have one plant now that's still alive. She's kicking. Her name is
Yeah.
Susanna. And we're friends, but like, she's struggling a little bit. So like maybe we're gonna have to have a conversation off air about Susanna.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do for her sometimes. So
Got you.
And the-
anyway, okay.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for coming on Anxiety Warriors and chatting with us. This has just been so much fun, and we really appreciate you.
We appreciate
Yeah.
y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
having me.
Woo, what a fun conversation.
Yes. Super, super fun.
Just like really lighthearted energy. It truly felt like we were just having a 4-way conversation as opposed to like an interview,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's so relatable. Like it was just like they would say something and instantly I was like, I'm right there with you.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just like really fun, but also like I feel like everything they said, I was like, yep, I have that same experience. Yep. I just, I loved it. I just felt like they were our community, which they are.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Our
Yeah.
community for sure. It's just like, this is what happens. We talk to warriors and we see ourselves reflected in their experience, at least in small ways. And I
Yeah.
agree. I felt really connected to their story because it related really hard to my own in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So totally. I think my first takeaway was just Justin and Josh just have a great energy
Mm-hmm.
and ability to support each other. I just kept getting this sense of like, there's a deep level of caring
Mm-hmm.
and support that
Yeah.
they appear to have, right? Not just, we saw it together while we were just sitting and watching them over Zoom while we were
Mhm.
podcasting, but also hearing them both talk about how they show up for each other in their small business. And, there were little pockets of it, even when they were talking about their mom, which was a really sweet moment towards
Mhm.
the end, and it just seems like they really have a great amount of love and respect for each other. And they're able to notice each other's anxiety and lift one another up. And I can't think of anything more special and beautiful than that. So I think that's my first takeaway. It's just like support can be as simple as just noticing the people in your life, just paying a little bit of extra attention to them, noticing their body language shift, right? Like we heard
Yeah.
Josh talk about how he had a feeling that Justin was going to have a hard time with those teenagers. And so he was like ready to swoop in and be like, get out of here,
Yeah.
And so just the idea of like have each other's backs. It doesn't have to be that complicated.
Right. Right. That wasn't even my takeaway, but now hearing you, it's like, that is a huge takeaway for me too. And you're right. The way they just like kind of like bounce off each other and compliment each other in the like supporting way, not like saying nice things to each other. Right. And
Right.
how they, I really like that. And I guess part of my takeaway in that is, there's always like never mix family with business, but they so beautifully show that it's possible. Like, I love how they said like they had a really strong foundation before they started, and they said we have to speak up, we have to share what's coming up for each of us, right? And so that support, that level of like just being really honest in communicating who they are, right? I mean, the fact that they both were on this talking about anxiety and being brothers, it just shows how strong their relationship is.
Oh yeah.
And we talk about community so much, in this shared community of anxiety warriors. And like, how sweet is it to have like a built-in family member community when you have all these things like running a small business and all the different anxieties that come up, and just how much they really complement each other in it. And they said they each know each other's strengths and everything while working through this. So that was a huge takeaway for me too. It's just like, just really powerful to watch two family members and the beautiful thing they've built together, while supporting each other through it.
Totally. Yeah, I think my other big takeaway was in the question about giving their younger self a bit of advice, just hearing them both talk about, I think it was Justin that was like, failure is important, right? It's like a launch pad for knowing where to start next.
Yeah.
And it's just like failure isn't talked about enough as something that can be wielded for positivity.
Yeah.
Right. It's like we instantly have this thing in our culture and our society of like, you're a failure. You've done something wrong. You didn't do the thing perfectly. You didn't land the thing, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately your brain's just like, oh, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And
I shouldn't even do it again ever.
Right. I should give up. I should not try. I should have never tried to begin with. Right. And just like the beauty of looking at failure as an opportunity and like a launch pad for something bigger and greater and better, possibly. And when Josh said like he wanted to think for himself more, right? It's like for me, I feel like that's something I'm still thinking about now. I'm like, sometimes my go-to and my gut is to say, don't trust yourself. Go get the answers from someone else. Go talk to Adam. Go talk to Abby. Go talk to my mom. And it's still like it was like a nice reminder of like, yes, I gotta, I'm gotta keep practicing, trusting myself. And so thank you for that, both of you. And let go of the people pleasing, I mean, if that was the other big thing, and we talked about our merch and like the things that how passionate we are about not people pleasing or trying to be a recovering people pleaser. But this shit is hard and it shows up all the time, no matter how many years we've been coping with our anxiety and our experience. So
yeah. No, I think mine kind of aligns with that. My final takeaway, which is really just their lightheartedness, right? Like we covered a lot of different topics of anxiety, like anxiety of having a small business, social anxiety, anxiety of being alone and, trying to reach out and connect with other people. But through it all, they both have this lightheartedness to it. And I personally think that that's a superpower, right? Like anxiety is rough. Right? It is really challenging. It is really uncomfortable. You and I know we live it all the time. They know they live it all the time. It's exhausting, it's depleting. And yet to have this lens of it where we can see the humor in it, right? We can laugh about how awkward it is because we don't know how to like greet people and say goodbye to people, and how we overthink these small things all the time, right? But we can all laugh about it and see the funny in it. And for me, it's just such a valuable reminder. Like the takeaway is just like how valuable lightheartedness is. It's not diminishing our experience. It's not taking away from our actual experience, but it helps us, I mean, for me, at least, the lightheartedness and the humor helps me be able to keep going on and doing stuff and not just giving up and laying on my floor for the rest of my life. You know,
Exactly.
like to see the humor in it, even though, like, again, like that saying goodbye to everyone is super fucking awkward for me. It is.
It's
I
the
don't
worst.
I don't want to say goodbye to everyone, and then they're going to keep talking to me, and when I want to go, and I want to go right now, you know, and so just that lightheartedness, I just find such an important quality to have when you have anxiety. And so that was a huge takeaway, is just our whole conversation. They brought this lens of like lightheartedness and humor to it. And at the end, like I just said, I feel like that is a superpower that many of us have to help us with the struggles of anxiety.
Hard agree. Totally. I mean, I hadn't thought about it in those words exactly, but 100%. It's just the most amazing thing, actually, right? It is a superpower to be able to laugh at, even if you're struggling really hard right now, just the reminder to, I'm going to move through this. I'm going to get through it like I always did. And then I can, have some, maybe not joy, but like you said, it's lighthearted. It's, oh man, that thing happened again. Like, that's just me. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. And just being able to see things through the lens of like, you're strong, but you can also, when you're feeling super effed up, you can make it lighter than it is.
Yeah.
And work towards that.
Yeah. Or at least in hindsight, you can see the funny or the humor or the lightness in it and hopefully apply it to the next time,
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Or when you're supporting your co-business owner or your sibling or whomever, you can tell them a quick, funny, stupid story about how that, guess what? I've been in the exact same position.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, totally. All right. So thank you so much, Justin and Josh, for being guests on our show. It was such a great honor and pleasure and privilege. Thank you to our former guest and friend of the pod and just friend, Nancy Beachy, for making this connection. Everyone go follow Plant Parenthood LLC on Instagram and check out the amazing things that they're doing. If you would like to connect with us for any reason, Warriors, we are on Instagram. You can join our podcast Instagram family at Anxiety Warriors Podcast. You can shoot us an email at anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com to shout out your wins of the week, share topic ideas with us, or if you think you'd be a great fit as a guest on our show, let us get you on the calendar, help you share your anxiety journey. No journey too big or too small for our platform. We'd love to help you tell it. Please take 2 seconds and smash that 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're tuning in right now. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please make sure you're following the show on all these platforms so you never miss a new episode, and let the little fun algorithm-y things know that you're dying for the next Anxiety Warriors episode. You can find our merch shop in our show notes, where you can purchase some fun Anxiety Warriors podcast swag, journals and mugs and hoodies and t-shirts. Here we are in spring. It's like, give me all the t-shirts and just like the light clothing. I'm so done with the hoodies and all of that. So forget the hoodies, or maybe you love hoodies all year, whatever.
I'm kind of an all year hoodie gal.
Yeah, I guess I am too.
But I love
maybe
t-shirts too. So
maybe a t-shirt, a tank top, prepare yourself for summer. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you can support our show that way. And we would love to see you rocking your stuff.
Yes. Take a picture, send it our way.
Yeah. Send it to me on Instagram so I can reshare it.
Yes. Rocking the stuff.
Rocking the stuff.
Also, Warriors, I'm just going to throw this out there. We keep wanting to grow our family and our community. And so if you're listening to this episode, think of someone that has anxiety. Think of that person right now. When you think of anxiety, who pops up in your mind? And then send them the Anxiety Warriors podcast. Let them know they're not alone and that they have a community that they can connect with. So please help us grow our family, help us grow our community, help us connect to other Anxiety Warriors. And you can do that just by sharing our show with one person.
Amen, honey.
Yeah.
Please do, everyone. Send it even just to one person. It can make a big difference and help grow our community for sure.
Yes.
All right, Warriors, we love you so much.
Yes. Thank you all so much for going on this journey with us. We're so grateful we get to do this with you.
Till next time.